Choice and the importance of choices. When we wake up in the morning, any morning, we know that on the day, the most important thing will be how we make choices. We always have choices to make, and the way we make them over a period of time will define us in terms of how we succeed and advance as people and as individuals. When it comes to matters of personal or mass importance, like for example, to elect governments, that simple choice within our hands could be the power to change the destiny of an entire nation. Jamaica has succeeded under the leadership of Andrew Holness to make significant progress, pulling away and leaving the worst days further and further behind us with each rising and setting of the sun. For the first time in our country's history, we do not have a difficult choice in a general election, which is the one that's coming now. I have a little much to say today, so I cannot waste time to beat around the bush. The decision is simple and clear. Hey again, everyone. It's Ty Walker. Welcome to my channel where good coffee make bad people feel bad. But whose fault is it? If you like my brew, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to help support this movement. I really appreciate you, my people. I really do. In the upcoming elections, it should be obvious to everyone that the JLP is the better choice for Jamaica at this time, and it takes no political debate. It is simply the truth. Truth doesn't need for anyone to believe it, and I don't have time to pretend like I don't know. This voting season is very crucial, not only because we need to continue working this winning formula with the JLP, but also that we cannot avoid to vote for those that are obviously bent on destroying this country and who are too transparent about it for us to be mistaken. To any Jamaican that calls himself a comrade and think in a Hutu versus Tutsi way, I urge you to be a Jamaican first. You know what's happening that can threaten our progress. You see the evidence that proves you must not go down that awful road. So don't pretend that you don't see it. Let's not go back to where we were led before and we almost perished as a nation. Don't allow the same people that put us there in the first place to put us there again. If that's what you're planning to do, let me ask you this question. What excuses will you have tomorrow when your willful blindness becomes certain betrayal and when it turns out you would have betrayed even your children? Mark Golding enriched himself on the back of the sufferings of our people and benefited from many that suffered so bad. Some even hanged themselves. Mark will tell you that he is a big investment banker. He will not tell you how much his company is hemorrhaging and how it would help him to come up with a hefty sum of US dollars again. Can you allow a financially desperate man who took your money before when he was not even as desperate? Can you allow him to come back and manage your money now when you need to have it work for you more than ever? And you already have all proof that Jamaica's money is now working good for Jamaicans. We cannot stop that forward progress or allow detractors to stop it, especially greedy, parasitical ones. The scary thing was always how our people kept choosing ignorance because it assuages their emotions and allows them to pretend like they don't see the lies and the certain betrayal that they will again receive from their failed leaders. They did it with PJ Patterson too. And remember how even comrades had to lament? They did that very same thing, pretending to not know he was corrupt and voting for him. And the same thing he did before and was ordered to resign by Manley, they allowed him to come and do again. Even worse, so much worse that even they had to admit and lament. Now, again, we have the same circumstances. Everybody watches how Mark Golding does not a thing but lies. And yet, many jump up and cheer him for no other reason but that he is white. They say that Andrew knows too big. Too many hate themselves, and that is dangerous for our people. My people. Don't go to sell your country to Britain's favorite colonial baby who comes with his chain and his chain gang, but you say you don't want slavery. So don't work for it then. Don't work for it. If you don't want it, just don't work for it. You believe that some foolishness like just because he is PNP, it makes a difference. Jamaica cannot take another blow like Finsack. Besides, you realize that according to the thing he proposes to do and how economics works, this man is more than likely to burden you with new taxes. You know that, right? I believe you know that, but you will find arguments bent on impossible facts, almost as to say that SHIT spells sugar because that's comrade language. You will say SHIT spells sugar just to play ignorant and choose the danger. You see everything. You see everything just like how we all see everything. It's obvious. We all are here to witness. And you also see that this author of the book of He Lies cannot stop lying about everything. Not even to save his life, but you say that he is most credible. And he is more credible than Andrew Holness. That's what you keep saying, and you know it's a lie. Just like in that case with this 28 bank account, you saw the forensic report that cleared him and showed that he was innocent. But with Finsack, you know with certainty that Mark Golding did Finsack. So how come Mark Golding end up with more credibility than Andrew Holness in your eyes? Look in yourself, black people. Learn to stop hating yourselves and making these stupid decisions that carry you down and carry down your people. Hmm? I see you have an inferiority complex. It's not good. Throughout history, there have been pivotal moments when the choices of a people could either propel them forward or bind them to cycles of stagnation. In Jamaica, during the period of independence, we saw these crossroads clearly because that was one of the biggest crossroads in our history, and we saw those crossroads clearly then. Marcus Garvey stood as a beacon, urging us to recognize the necessity of having leaders who understand our struggles, who fought not just for us but as us. His words carried the weight of truth. His vision a roadmap to self determination, and yet his warnings often went unheeded. Marcus Garvey died of a stroke. His warnings were often unheeded, overshadowed by promises that appeared easier, less demanding, less reflective, and especially when the one behind them was white. Oh my God. Marcus Garvey suffered because his opposition was a white man, and black people now go take the black man's side. This dynamic repeated itself with leaders like P.J. Patterson, whose personality and actions spoke volumes even before governance began. I mean, that dynamic about us knowing what the leader will do, but because of party sentiments, we're gonna vote for him and hope for the best. Hmm? Many knew the implications, his history, his very demeanor, even words that P.J. Patterson said forecasted a storm was brewing. Yet, hope clung to the possibility of mercy, to the belief that perhaps, just maybe, he would steer the ship with justice. He would be sorry for us and not rob our people again. But the overwhelming choice was one of willful ignorance, of prioritizing the comfort of entertainment, charisma, and familiarity over the difficult road of scrutiny and accountability. PJ command, sing, and dance, and they took that for everything else. The result was a deep, lingering impact that the nation is still trying to recover from today. Yes? And because of how stupid we seem to this guy, he come asking us to worship him for all that he did in the past. You didn't do your due diligence and you didn't take your children's future seriously. Because look what Mark Golding did. So why is he here? Why is he in that office? Why is he in parliament illegally with a freaking chain? Hmm? You didn't do your due diligence and you didn't take your children's future seriously. You had better learn to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you ain't gonna love your own children. You didn't take your own due diligence seriously, and you didn't take your children's future seriously. And now that's how you are behaving again. Jamaica cannot take another takedown like Finsack at this time. You have leaders that are not patriotic enough to run our country, are honest enough to be trusted with our money, and they prove it every day by the things they say and do. You have a leader who doesn't even want to be Jamaican, and you act as if you don't know the seriousness of a leader, a Jamaican leader wants to be prime minister, only having allegiance to Jamaica. You act as if you don't know how serious that is. So you're making troops up in our parliament illegally, according to 411. You deliberately choose ignorance and stifle your consciences. You crucify yourself once you stifle your conscience. That is the meaning of the crucifixion of Jesus. You crucify conscience, Christ within. The conscience and the fleshy table are your heart. Allah. Allah will write on the fleshy table your heart, of God write it in there. So when you stifle your conscience, you crucify Jesus on the cross, just like when you see Sunday go down, and it go down at your horizon, you make the sign of the cross. Every time you see that, remember what you do to your conscience. I remember what you do to your God in you. Because that's how God speak to you, from within. Because your conscience they by your heart. As the church people and what I say upon the fleshy table of your heart. What does it mean to choose ignorance though? It means to step away from reflection and action, to trade long-term growth for short-term ease, even when the consequences are evident. It is a choice made not only in politics, but in how we engage with the struggles and legacies of our own people. During independence, the dialogue between Garvey and Norman Malley symbolized a larger struggle. The fight for justice and empowerment versus the pull of complacency and self interest. These moments demand effort, sacrifices, not just of comfort, but of denial itself. And so often, it is the easier path that prevails. Marcus Garvey did not take the easier path. He was willing to push hard at the beginning so that it would be easy in the end. His first fight was against the colonial mind of Norman Manley, who was intrinsically linked to the British. Yet the comrades of those days betrayed Marcus and Rastafari in the 60s or so, choosing the white man, Manley, over the black man because they believed that even if the white man was wrong, the white man is a better choice. So they are gonna give him the right because he's white. The black people, them our black people, are so them work. Just like between Mark Golden and Holness. Them know say Holness innocent and Mark Golden guilty. And look what they do. About 28 bank account. That's what they believe. They say the black man is wrong because his nose too damn big. That's why he is wrong. That's what they say. Ignorance is a choice. A wicked one sometimes. Today, the echoes of those choices ring louder than ever. Many have forgotten the weight of those moments, the lessons that should anchor us are buried beneath distractions, polarizations, and the fear of confronting the truth. Yet, beneath all of this lies a thread of unity, a recognition that struggles and triumphs of the past are not just stories, but mirrors reflecting the possibilities of our own lives. Let us remember that ignorance is never just a byproduct of circumstance. It is a deliberate act of turning away, of refusing to see. And in remembering, let us act differently with this memory of our history. The struggles of Garvey, the implications of our choices in the wake of independence, the leaders we have followed and questioned, these are not distant memories. They are lessons, urgent and alive. If we are willing to listen and if we are willing to take our successes into our own hands by choosing our leaders with mind over emotions. We do not have to believe the lies because fact check is easy these days. You see all the lies, the ineptitude, and the lawlessness so simply choose fear. Choose fearly. It's simple. After all, it is our children's legacy we are fighting for, right? We have too much to gain to lose, my people. Think on these things. Peace out.